In this video, I'm looking at 3 exclusive Heinnie edition knives. Heinnie Haynes is not a name I should need to introduce, especially to anyone living in the UK. If you have an interest in knives, tools, outdoor gear or anything like that, Heinnie Haynes should be well known to you. And for those that are not in the UK, you also may well have come across them. Heinnie Haynes have been selling knives for a long time now and have started to commission their own exclusive editions with special modifications made. So the first one here is the titanium folder called the Penfold, and we are going to be taking a much more detailed look at this in another more in-depth review. Next one up is the MKM Isonzo, Italian made, again an exclusive edition for Heinnie. This is the mini cleaver. But the focus of this video is to introduce an exclusive and before they're actually available, a special edition of the CRKT Pilar. This is a very popular knife in the standard editions from CRKT, but for the UK market, it's being a small locking folder makes it not very practical and quite frustrating not to be able to just use it as an EDC knife. So what's actually Heinnie have arranged is to modify the design slightly, still keeping the overall size, ergonomics the same, but instead of being a locker, this is a slip joint. So although the overall ergonomics and shape of the knife have remained the same, what Heinnie Haynes saw as a real possibility for this knife was if it were to become a slip joint. So what's been done is, with the 2 steel liners, there is a double detent, one either side of the blade, providing a slip joint action. Also chosen for this, again to make it very practical for EDC, is a deep carry pocket clip. And as part of the overall changes in construction, so the standard CRKT models have steel or copper handles, and in this case we've got the Heinnie red G10. What I'm going to do now is take you through the measurements, the standard measurements that I do, just to get an idea of specifications, size and so on for this knife. Now, so we start the technical measurements section of this video, exclusive introduction to Heinnie Haynes CRKT Pilar, and I've just popped it next to Victorinox Pioneer just so you can get an idea of scale. So first thing we're going to do is just check the weight. So 81 grams. There is no pouch or anything else to weigh with that. Overall length when open, is 149 millimeters. And the blade length taken as the longest is 6 centimeters from the nearest point of the handle. And what I also do for a UK EDC knife is to roll the cutting edge, as it's actually that counts in the law. So if we roll the cutting edge, that's 53 millimeters. Then for checking the handling, what I do is just find the balance point. So you can see the point at which it's actually now just sitting on the pivot. And this then, from the tip, is 80 millimeters to the balance point. For such a small blade, especially compared to something like Victorinox, it is relatively thick. So check the blade thickness, and that is 3.7. 3.7 millimeters. And just using a straight edge, we just confirm that it is a flat grind. So what I look at here, as part of the geometry checking, is just to see the length of that grind. And that is 21 millimeters. And the maximum blade depth, being careful not to actually nick the edge. And the maximum blade depth is 26 millimeters. So now I'm going to measure the primary bevel. So for measuring the primary bevel, I have a vernier protractor. And that gives us 9 degrees, 20 minutes. This may not show up very well in the video, but let's have a look. So just centering the primary grind, and that gives me a right hand bevel of 16.5 degrees and a left hand bevel of 18 degrees, so it's just a tiny bit out, 1.5 degrees different on the edge bevel grind. And we take a little look at the point angle. It's a little bit of by eye here, but this would look to be about 75 degrees for the point angle. Obviously geometry has a big effect in the cutting performance of a knife, so what I try to look at here is the thickness behind the edge. So I'm measuring and moving the calipers until I'm just at the top of the edge bevel, and that gives us a measurement that's going to indicate how easy it is to push this through material. So the thickness behind the edge is 0.6 millimeters. Handle thickness is 11.5, and the deepest part of the handle is 26. You would say that the rake is relatively neutral, and the last test now for the factory edge is to use the BESS sharpness testing machine to just see how good the factory edge is. Of course, the factory edge is relatively unimportant because you are going to sharpen the knife, but it's always nice to get it sharp out of the box. So I'm going to take 3 measurements, one from the centre, one from the heel and one from the tip. I've already got the media holders set up, so just go straight into the measurements. Centre measurement, ,148 grams. That is good, considering that at 200, so for the BESS scale, the lower the number the better. At 200 you can shave arm hair. So 148 for the centre. ,197 for the heel. ,147 for the tip. Very good performance. So I'm going to be carrying out more in-depth testing of this knife along with the other Heinnie edition knives. There should be stock coming in very soon for these if you want to grab one. It's not just for the UK market that this really is a consideration. Having a small slip joint is often the easier choice. very inoffensive, easy to carry, and good in many places where knife laws are a little bit more restrictive.